I'm setting off on a journey that will take me to the other side of the world. A journey that thousands of other gamers will be taking as well, to one of the most exciting gaming events ever.
Most of you probably think I'm talking about a big gaming convention like E3, but this is something a little bit different. Instead of being about all games, this is about one very special game, Dota 2. And it just so happens to be my favorite game in the world. And now I'm headed to the biggest esports competition in the world, the Dota 2 International in Vancouver, Canada. But before I get there, my journey starts here in Seattle, USA.
Located on the west coast of America, right up near the USA-Canada border, Seattle is best known for its rainy weather, its evergreen forests, and the futuristic Space Needle that crowns its skyline.
Seattle may not be the first place you think of when it comes to video games, but it should be, because it's the epicenter of the games industry in America. This city has over 300 different companies, the highest concentration anywhere on the continent. It's the home of Xbox, America's only console maker, and it just so happens to be the birthplace of Valve Software, the developer and publisher of Dota 2.
For those of you that haven't heard of Dota 2, let me fill you in. Dota is a free-to-play multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA. A real-time strategy game played on a single map between two teams of 5. Each team is trying to destroy their opponent's base and a building called the Ancient. It's frantic, tactical, and endlessly fun. Dota's Crown Esports tournament, the International, is where the best of the best players compete. It also has the largest prize pool of any esports event in the world. This is thanks to a crowdfunding model, in which 25% of the money from an in-game cosmetic pack, called the Compendium, goes towards the prize pool. To find out a bit more about this and Dota 2's origins, I caught up with Valve Software's Eric Johnson. So the original Dota was actually a Warcraft 3 mod. How is it that Valve came to be involved and make Dota 2?
We heard about this thing happening around Warcraft called Dota. You know, a bunch of us started playing it. We were immediately so impressed by the creator, who goes by the name of Ice Frog. And so we contacted him, met him, really wanted to work with him on anything. And Dota 2 seemed like the thing that made the most sense.
Dota has grown massively on the esports scene. It's one of the biggest, it's definitely the biggest prize pool. What was that like trying to build that scene, and why did Valve choose to do that?
We kind of understood that there was a group of people that were really interested in watching other people play the game at the highest level. We were trying to think, how do we show it off to people for the first time? The game is complicated. And so our idea was, let's just get the best players in the world to kind of do our job for us.
Did you guys expect that it would grow to the heights that it did?
I would say at the end of the first international, we knew that there was something to like really think hard about how to integrate that into our entire product design. We tend to do whatever our fans care the most about. And it was clear that they cared a lot about that, even though it was a bit of a rocky start.
Are you going to be running the International as long as you possibly can, or do you think there's a natural endpoint that will come?
I don't know of a natural endpoint. I mean, we still pack stadiums and the prize pools are still really great. All the players are just getting better and better. Dota's been going for a long time. I don't see any end in sight for that.
After all this talk about the International, it's finally time to make the 3-hour journey over the border to where this year's finals will take place, Vancouver, Canada. Road trip! Vancouver is the largest city in Canada's British Columbia region. It's well known for its mountainous surrounds and interesting local culture. Named after the famous British explorer Captain George Vancouver, who arrived here in the late 1700s. Vancouver was originally called Gastown and then Granville, a name that the famous Granville Island markets still holds today. The markets are known for their amazing crafts and fresh food. And there was one thing at the top of my list.
So this is poutine, which is a bit of a Canadian delicacy. In fact, you could call it Canada's national dish in a lot of ways. It's basically chips with cheese curd and gravy, which sounds simple, but it's super delicious.
Vancouver is also the home to Stanley Park, which is a whopping 10% bigger than New York's Central Park, and it holds a rich Indigenous history. Then there's Elizabeth Park, which houses the futuristic Blodell Conservatory Dome. And bear mounties.
And while the games industry here is not nearly as big as in Seattle, Vancouver is no slouch. In recent years, games development has skyrocketed, thanks to strong investment by the Canadian government. And now, the city is reaping the rewards, playing host to the world's biggest esports competition, the International. I'm here now at Rogers Arena for the Dota 2 International, and the crowds are starting to pour in. It's a lot of people, which I guess goes to show how big this competition is. It's a bit surreal for me actually being here because this is a competition I have watched online for years. So I really hope that it lives up to the hype, and I better get in there and find out if it does.
It's so cool to be surrounded by so many other Dota fans. But the first thing that hits me when I get inside is the scale of it. The arena is packed with fans, there's merchandise stalls, and 16 teams playing for a slice of a $25 million prize pool. The tournament itself plays out like a traditional sports tournament. Teams face off in best-of-3 matches until the finals, when it's a best-of-5 for the chance to win the coveted trophy named the Aegis. The players in the competition have all trained really hard to be here. Dota 2 is a game of quick reflexes, quicker tactical thinking, and tight team communication. Each team member plays a specific role that can change depending on the tactics required to get the upper hand. Often, good teamwork, like sacrificing yourself for a teammate in trouble, or not leaving anyone stranded, can make the difference in Dota. How do these guys deal with such intense pressure? Well, lucky me, I get to talk to some pros and find out.
I'm here with Anna from OG, who is an Australian who's playing in the International this year. What's it like to come to a huge competition like this?
It's very thrilling, and I can't wait to play. It's very excited.
How much time and training goes into preparing for a competition like this?
It's definitely a tricky thing to prepare for a big tournament such as this. You have to kind of choose how much time you want to invest. You don't want to overdo it.
So before this tournament, we train roughly 6 to 8 hours every day.
And so you're from Australia as well. How did you come to be playing in a professional Dota team?
So back in 2015, I graduated from university, and then one of my closest friends in Dota, QO, he asked me to join his team, and I thought, why not just try something new?
So obviously esports is growing heaps. Do you think that it will ever be able to be as big as traditional sports like soccer or tennis?
Maybe not as big as some of those kind of sports. Maybe something like golf.
Do you ever get nervous going up on main stage to play?
For me, I've been doing this for quite a few years, so it's not as, I don't really get as nervous, but the first time you walk to a stadium, a big stadium with a huge crowd, it's always like a cool feeling in a way. It's one of the most amazing things I've experienced, and I know, you know, I'm pretty lucky to have this, so the first time I walk in is always like a bit of you feel it in your heart, you know, this is really cool, but after a little bit of time, I get really relaxed and just focus on one thing.
EG looking to close the game up. The GG is scored.
Walk up Arbit just managed to get a 3-man avalanche. Indeed, that would be enough to clean up GA.
But LGD, they're killing themselves. Crit tries to come in and capitalize on X-Nova. He's solo in life now, S4.
3 heroes lost.
The pressure is immense. It's easy to make a mistake.
He wants to get it. There's the arrow. It will give him vision. He will be ulted on the backside by Winter Wyvern, so he can't swap in and take it. He does get it with the Wave of Terror, though. What a play there.
Wow, we have seen some incredible Dota so far, and there is so much energy here. We've traveled for about 17 hours to be here, but I want to see if anyone else can beat our record. So where did you travel from to be at the International?
Traveled all the way from Melbourne.
We traveled from Halifax, Nova Scotia, so that's like 6 hours on a plane. That's the whole continent, right?
We drove in a car for about like 25, 26 hours.
Oh, I came from Germany, so I had quite a trip, yeah.
Why did you decide to come all the way from Germany for this?
I mean, the International is the #1 tournament of Dota 2, and it's always been a dream for me to be here.
For me, I just play a lot of Dota, so it's really, really exciting for me to be here and actually watch some live and see some of the players live.
We were actually invited by Valve. We're workshop artists. We develop items and skins and costumes for the game for players to wear.
It's actually a honeymoon, and it's one of our shared interests. We really love playing Dota 2 together, so we just had to come all the way here just to watch it.
That's really sweet.
Just seeing like the esports crowd and sort of the whole atmosphere around being at an esports event where everyone's really excited and everyone's really into it is just something I'm really into because I don't play Dota, but I play a lot of other games.
This is your first time seeing some Dota, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think of it so far?
It's really good.
And why did you decide to come to the International?
Because it looks really fun.
It's such a different experience watching with a few thousand people who are just as invested in the games as you are. It really just elevates everything, feeling how they react to all the fights and all the moments, and I love it.
With some of the early rounds of the tournament done and dusted, I thought I'd take a break from the giant video screens and roaring fans to explore some of the natural surrounds that Vancouver is famous for. After all, we can't travel this far and not experience Canada. The city is surrounded by mountains, home of the famous red cedar tree, and one of the world's largest suspension bridges. Spanning 140 meters and 70 meters above the river below, the Capilano Suspension Bridge is huge. First built over 127 years ago out of just hemp rope and cedar planks, I would not want to walk on that. The Capilano Bridge has now been updated to hold the weight of up to 203 moose. Hopefully they don't all cross at the same time. The site also boasts a treetop walk and a cliff walk, which was an incredible way to experience the natural beauty. A little further up the road is the impressive Grouse Mountain.
We're so high up and there's grizzly bears up there, I can't wait.
A ski resort in the winter and popular adventure destination in the summer, Grouse Mountain is home to cool grizzly bears, American bald eagles.
They can roll themselves to shore with their wings because they're actually pretty good swimmers.
And the native Canadian lumberjack. There's also a crazy aerial ropes course, and I'm keen to give it a red-hot go.
All right, now it's time for the mountain ropes adventure, and I was pretty good at unravels, so hopefully I've got some rope skills there that'll help me out. Oh, it's wobbly! This is a much scarier suspension bridge than the other one.
So this is nothing like the game, but I still think I'm doing pretty good. The course is made up of a series of obstacles strung high above the ground, including the most important part, a zip line.
Yeah!
Back at the International, there are upsets aplenty, with big teams being knocked out.
EG just couldn't stop it.
And others making comebacks from almost certain defeat.
And for the first time in the playoff bracket, we have a Game 3!
Any way you slice it, we are seeing some of the best games of Dota that have ever been played. With each passing round, you can feel the energy and excitement of the crowd building, the devastation of each knockout growing, the hopes of those moving forward building, until only 2 remain. It's been a highly competitive International this year, but in the end, it's all about making it to this day. The finals are set with powerhouse PSG.LGD taking on our very own Australian player Anna's team, OG. OG had a strong run to the finals and beat LGD earlier in the tournament, but LGD are seriously good. It's gonna be a tough matchup. Let's see who the fans are tipping.
Who do you think's gonna win?
LGD.
Oh, I think OG's gonna take it.
I'd like LGD to win.
I think OG's gonna take it.
OG has the heart to take this one down. I think LGD is going to win it, but I want OG to win it just so we can have the first repeat title winner.
OG, absolutely. Their drafts have been better than anybody else in this entire tournament, so I think they're going to take it.
I really love the LGD fans. They're going nuts over there.
LGD! I think they're going to kick butt.
I've been an OG fan for a long time.
You reckon they're gonna take it?
I hope so. I hope so.
The crowd seems split down the middle. Only one thing is certain, it's gonna be an epic finish.
As we get into game 1 of OG versus PSG.LGD. They've got the setup, they've got the remnants down, and LGD looking for first blood, they'll find it. LGD tried to get in there with Saunders, but Jerax was quick with the jump. OG taking game 1 of this best of 5.
With the first match down, OG had a bit of a rocky start, but managed to take the game convincingly. Their teamwork and ability to rotate positions meant LGD's focus was constantly being split, allowing OG to survive so many close fights, with neither wanting to back down.
Ladies and gentlemen, PSG.LGD taking game 2 of the best of 5 grand finals here TIA.
Oh, the crowd is really coming alive.
OG having 26 deaths between their two supports, suffering so much in this game.
They beat down on the ancient PSG.LGD looking to close this one up, and there was game 3.
Despite OG's confidence in Game 1, LGD came back swinging in Games 2 and 3. They masterfully capitalized on every little advantage before them to lock OG out of the game and put themselves one win away from claiming the title.
As they did get ahead after recovering the lanes, but now PSG.LGD catching back up.
Things looked hopeful for OG with their pick of Axe, a hero with lots of HP and mobility. Early on, it looked like it was paying off beautifully, but after they overextended, LGD did what they do best and took back the lead.
But Seb, he's gonna go down, no buyback on the Axe. As Jarex as well, surrounded by PSG.LGD, the Eon disc will proc, but they'll fight through it.
LGD continued to put the pressure on, dealing lots of damage to OG's base, and it looked like it was all over.
PSG.LGD are playing it safe.
They cautiously backed off to regroup for a final push. But that broke their momentum and allowed OG to pounce.
Sam, he catches Ave! Ave down for 2 minutes ahead! They've got Songus as well! OG! Trying to commit, trying to deal with that Anna being silenced by the blood right, but the ancient is falling, the Hex is out, they're going to be able to find themselves challenged, 3 down on LGD! OG hitting the ancient, hitting the ancient! We're going live! We are going to a game 5!
The Axe pick proved pivotal to OG's win, with play after play letting OG inch back an advantage, until they took down LGD's base and pushed the final to a full 5 games. The first time this has happened in an international since 2013.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Game 5 of the TIA Grand Finals between PSG.LGD and OG. Diving in, gets that first blood. Tanks up a bit of the tower, but he's able to get his way out of it. It's PSG.LGD out to a strong start in this top lane. They'll get themselves a third. They'll look to No-Tail as No-Tail vicious in the face from FY. As again, PSG.LGD just coming out on top of these trades. Nova trying to go for it. They do manage to get the chains out onto the bat rider. The courier actually being taken down here, but they've lost 1, they've lost 2, they've lost 3. Buybacks coming out from the 2 of them. OG, they've got the double kill for Erna. Seth, he's got the control onto Arme. As OG, they fight 3. They look towards Somnus, surrounding him in the pit. Somnus, he'll go down as well. The buyback from Anna, securing the fight here for OG. As only X-Nova left alive, but not for long. They chase him down, they get the team-wide triple kill for Anna. Shockwave from Seb, gets themselves another, they're onto the ancient. OG. OG have done it. They have done it. The power of flowers and friendship. I've done it here, ladies and gentlemen.
What an adventure. Not many people get to literally live out their dreams, and I feel so blessed that I have. It's been a roller coaster journey. I've got to see incredible places on the other side of the world. I got to explore Vancouver's natural beauty, spend time in America's heart of gaming, Seattle, and I got to talk to pros who I've been watching for years. But more than that, I got to experience what a $25 million esports competition is like firsthand. I got to be in the room when OG lifted up the Aegis, etching their name into gaming history. And an Australian player, Anna, was instrumental in securing that victory. It is so cool to see one of our boys out there on the main stage, and it paints the accomplishment of the players in a whole new light as they overcome overwhelming pressure and formidable opponents. And it also shows off what community you can build around a game. People from all across the world, from different backgrounds and languages, everyone there to share their passion for a game that becomes more than just entertainment. It becomes something that you live and breathe. But it's time now for me to head home, full of the hope and excitement at what this little thing called esports is truly capable of.